Hello all, welcome back. In the last video we had talked about the internet gateway. So in this video we will be sharing the insights. I will be sharing the insights about the NAT gateway. Okay. Before understanding about the NAT gateway, understand what are the use case of the NAT gateway. So NAT gateway is a service of AWS is used for accessing the internet from the private subnet resources. Now, for example, I have my application deployed into the private subnet. Okay, now there is a requirement, so it needs to be deployed. It should not be inside the public subnet, but that application is requiring the access of internet. So how we can do it? Now there comes the NAT gateway. Now understand this NAT gateway concept is that whenever we will be configuring the NAT gateway will be configured on the public subnet, okay, and the private subnets anywhere traffic like 0.0 traffic will have the NAT gateway attached to it, and NAT gateway will directly communicate with the internet, so and so forth. Okay, so the another use case of the NAT gateway is, now suppose you have your organization, okay, and you want to have the organization specific one single IP address, or you say your application should have the single IP address, because one of your so there is a requirement from your client that client will only register the IP addresses, okay, the specific IP addresses or the traffic coming from the specific IP address. Now in this scenario, what we can use the NAT gateway, okay. So NAT gateway can be used for a single IP address for external access or end customer. So here if you just check it, the NAT gateway's IP address is this, and it's a static IP address which is assigned to the NAT gateway. Whenever the traffic from the private subnets gets back to the internet, or whenever the container or application tries to connect to the internet, it will be connected from this IP address only. So this is a use case of the NAT gateway, to use a single IP address for an external access or an end customer. And in this video we will also check about the how we can set up the NAT gateway and the configuring route tables. So talking about this diagram, in the last video if you just watch the internet gateway, we have explained about the internet gateway, public subnet and all these things. If you haven't watched this, I request you to go and watch that video, because it will clear your understanding of public subnet and how we had configured the internet gateway to our public subnet. Okay, now talking about the private subnet, we will be configuring the route tables in this video, and the last one we will be deprovisioning of the resources. Now let us configure the NAT gateway for the private subnet. So I just logged it into the AWS console. Here you see on the last video we had added the internet gateway to the public subnet that we had created. Subnet without explicit association node also got added to the main route table. Now what we will do, we will configure another route table, because if you just check it here guys, we can use a single destination as an anywhere, and we can have the target. Now here if you want to distinguish between the public and private subnet, we will have to create another route table. So I'll just create a route table. So my previous was the main route table, and the second one is I will be using as the private one. Okay, create route. Now here if you just check it, I will have to add the subnet. In the last video we had also added the subnets, edit subnet association. I will add the private subnet. Okay, now I have my route table is ready with me, and if you just check, here is one route to the destination of my VPC, and here if you just edit the route, I'll add the route to the anywhere, but here it won't be giving the NAT gateway, so that because we'll have to first configure the NAT gateway. Now let's configure the NAT gateway. So to configure the NAT gateway, you can go on the left hand side, there is a NAT gateway and it has a pricing. So after every when you try this NAT gateway, you just deprovision it. So create a NAT gateway. Okay, now here as I already mentioned you, that NAT gateway configuration will be inside the public subnet. Okay, now what I will do, I'll choose a public subnet. First I will have to check the ID of my public subnet. I'll just go to the VPC, this VPC ID, public subnet 01, and this. Now just to add this subnet, I'll just go, I'll add public subnet, and that connectivity type for the NAT gateway is public, and here is the elastic IP allocation that I was mentioning. If you want to have the one IP address for external access, so what you can do, you can just add the elastic IP. So I'll just, because I haven't created the elastic IP yet, so I'll allocate the elastic IP. Now this elastic IP got attached. Okay, now additional settings, I don't want to have the private IP before addresses and all these things. I'll just hit to create NAT gateway. It will take a time. So before that, like until it's in the available state, so we had configured the route table. Okay, previously we had the main route table. Now we had configured the second route table as a private route, so that we can add our NAT gateway to the outgoing traffic of this private routes. And we have added the subnet association. Inside that we had private subnets, and we will be attaching the NAT gateway. Edit the route, add route here. Here if you just check, the NAT gateway got created. I will just add it. So if you just check it now, in the subnet association, in the root there is a NAT gateway, and just to cross check it, if you just check the your VPC, just go to the VPC, and if you check the private subnet now, there you'll see the second route table has been added, and the connectivity is from NAT gateway, and it is also having one elastic IP, so that whenever my application in the private subnets wants to get access to the internet, they will get access within a single IP address only. So this is about the setting up NAT gateway, configuring the route table, and the last one is let's deprovisioning it. I won't be deprovisioning because to bear the cost, so I request you to delete this. So the first one, you can go ahead in NAT gateway and click on actions and delete this NAT gateway. Once you delete this, you can get back to the route table and delete that route table also, so that we will have a less cost involved in your account. So this was all about NAT gateway and how we can use a single NAT gateway for external access and all these things. I hope you liked the video. So keep learning, keep growing, and be a cloud premi. Thank you.